And welcome to this video on composition with examples in Java. In this video, we'll be seeing about what is composition, the benefits of using composition, and we'll also be seeing a real life example to understand composition better and where this idea is applicable in real world. And we'll also have a coding example to understand them better. So let us dive into the coding part. The composition is a design technique in Java to implement a has-a relationship. Java inheritance is used for code reuse purposes, and the same we can do by using composition. The composition is achieved by using an instance variable that refers to other objects. If an object contains the other object and contained object cannot exist without the existence of that object, then it is called as composition. In more specific words, composition is a way of describing reference between two or more classes using instance variable, and an instance should be created before it is used. So what are the benefits of composition? Composition allows the reuse of code. Java doesn't support multiple inheritance, but by using composition, we can achieve it. Composition offers better testability of a class. By using composition, we are flexible enough to replace the implementation of a compose class with a better and improved version. By using composition, we can also change the member objects at runtime to dynamically change the behavior of your program. Do remember that the key points of composition that I'm going to say now. So, composition represents a has a relationship. In composition, both entities are dependent on each other. When there is a composition between two entities, the composed object cannot exist without the other entity. For example, a library can have number of books on the same or different subjects. So if the library gets destroyed, then all books within that particular library will be destroyed. This is because books cannot exist without a library. The composition is achieved by using an instance variable that refers to other objects. We have a favor composition over inheritance. So now let us finally refer to the below example that I'm going to say now in order to get a hint about aggregation and to better understand how composition works. So let us take a simple real life example, library system. So we create a class book that contains data members like authors and titles, and create another class library that has a reference to that list of books. A library can have number of books on the same or different subjects. So if the library gets destroyed, then all books within that particular library will be destroyed. That means the books cannot exist without a library. The relationship between the library and books is called as composition. So let me elaborate on what I'm trying to say. I'll just import two of my libraries. I'll also have my Java util class. So now that I have these two classes, I'll have my helper class book. Class book. So as I said before, my book class has two things, title and author. I'll make it as public string title and public string author. So every book has its title and author, right? Now I'll create a constructor for this book class. And these constructors would have two parameters, string and title author. And I'll associate them with the variables of the class. I created the constructor now. Now I'll have my helper class. So I'll have my class library. And if you note clearly, I do not extend my class to perform inheritance. Instead, I can call a list, right? A non-changeable list. So I'll have it as private final. A normal list. I wouldn't be specific on linked list or anything. We'll have it as a normal list. And inside the list, it will contain the book class. And I'll design a variable books. Yeah. Now, again, I'll design a constructor for this library class. And it would have only one parameters, list of book as input and books again. I'll use my this operator to associate the variables with the parameters. Now I'll use a get list of books method for my library class to extract the information, right? So yeah, I'll have a method. So my method would again be a public method, and its return type would be list of books, right? List of book, and I'll have a variable get list of books in library. So it is always a good habit to elaborate on your methods requirement or the purpose. It can have bigger names, no issues on that. Now I'll just return books. So our return types match now. Coming to our main class, I create a test main and I'll have my public static void main. Inside my public static void main, I'll be creating an object for my class one. That is nothing but my book class. So book b1 is equal to new of book of. If you remember our constructor carefully, it will have its title and author. My title would be Java, and it is written by maybe Jake. I'll have my book 2, and it would be C++ maybe, and then I would have my authors as Sully. Yeah. Now I have 2 books, right? I'll have my third book also. Book 3 is equal to new of book, and it can be Python, it can be Alex. Now I've created a class book with 3 variables b1, b2, b3, and using constructors parameters I've initialized these values in my initialization. Now I'll be creating the list which contains the number of books. So how do I create the list? List of book, and my book is equal to new of, I'll have it as my array list, the default one. Yeah. And now I'll be having my list. So I have my greater sign here and lesser than sign here. So now I'll be adding books to the list object by using standard add method. So book.add. So the value inside it should be a book class, right? So b1, I'll have book.add b2. I'll have book.add b3. So I've added these 3 books, right? Now I'll be creating a library class for the object. So library is equal to new of library, and if you remember carefully, the parameters inside it would be book. Now I'll be calling my method to get the list that is declared in the type. So what do I mean by that? I'll be having my list of book class, and books is equal to library of get list of books in library. So now when I try to print this book class k of books, let's see what happens. So I'll be using my system dot out dot println, and I'll try to print the title first, title of this book, and I'll have my author's name also, bk dot. So yeah, now I have a completely functioning code. So what I've done, I've created my class book and have two variables, title and author, as a public string, and I'm having a constructor which gets the parameters title and author from my main function to associate those values. Then I have my library class, but my library class has a private variable of list books, and I'm again using my constructors to get those values. I also have a method get list of books in library which returns the books. So coming to my main function, I first initialize three books, and I add those books to the list of book, and then I initialize a library and send in the books that I've added in the list as parameter, and I associate my library value of books by using the get list of books in library method and associate them into books. So when I now try to print the statements of loops, let's see what happens. As you can see, the title of the book and the authors are given printed out by doing this. So this process is called composition. In this video, see about what is composition and what are the benefits of composition, and we also had a very good coding example to understand the composition with a real life example. So hope this video was helpful. See you in the next video. Thank you.